Councilman Travis. Okay.
Would the council member remove her tag so we can have a discussion on it?
Sure.
Same as that, are the others holding on their tags?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Pollard.
Thank you, Mayor. My reason for this tag is just to get some additional information from housing over the next week. When I looked at the properties that were listed, and this is the second year it's happened, it seems as if the properties that we advocate for, or I advocate for, don't make the list. And the properties that I do not advocate for do make the list. And it doesn't seem as if the housing department is truly taking into consideration views of the council members. And we're the ones that are boots on the ground to understand the needs of our particular districts. And it's kind of frustrating to see that, and would hope that they would reach out and really take the perspective of council members as it pertains to the needs. We're the ones going to the HOAs, civic clubs, super neighborhood groups, and we have to explain the reasons why the city is putting proposed developments in a particular area. And our feedback needs to be taken seriously. There are many times I reach out and try to advocate for the needs of District J as it pertains to these proposed developments, and then we look at the list and we don't see them there. And so that's a reason for my tag. But I also want, since we're on this subject, to really stress the need for not continuing to keep putting more and more apartment complexes in the city and looking to do more strategy towards single family homes or rehabilitation. District J already has a lot of low income apartments, and there needs to be a strategy not just to continue building more, but to rehab the ones that we do have, because we're so dense as it is. We're just stacking people on top of people. And so I hope over the week we'll be able to discuss this in more depth and understand why certain developments were put forth and others were not. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I do want to, let me speak to several of those items. One, it is, we do want to take council members' comments, the recommendations into account. And then, but there is a criteria for selecting these projects. And that's a criteria that we've worked out with HUD. So there is a criteria. When I first came into office, that was a big issue, even which I said no to certain apartment developments, and HUD stepped in and said, yes, you will do this. And that was a big battle between the city and HUD. And then HUD also criticized the city for allowing people in your districts to have a veto. What comes into your district and what doesn't. And HUD took a strong offense to that and said, that's a no-no. So we came up with a criteria by which we evaluate all of these projects, the schools, whether or not there are too many in a particular area, so to speak. But there is a set criteria. I do want the housing department to come and sit down with you all to discuss that criteria and how certain projects were selected. And we do want your feedback, but it will have to, the end product has to fit within that criteria. So I just wanted to say that. The other thing is that I agree that a lot of multifamily development, and we have to strike a balance. And that's why you all noticed, a couple of weeks ago, we had that bonding proposal, $100 million between now and the end of 23. We will be building close to 2,000 single family homes throughout the city of Houston, about 2,000. That is, when it comes to housing, that's my number one, the single family development. So I agree with you. And so in districts like District J, where there are a lot of apartments.
Over 85% of our residents live in apartments as
Right.
it is.
Right. So, we want to build single-family homes, for example, in that area to provide people with with added options. Okay. So that's important. But I will tell you, within the next 3 years, the goal is to build uh, at least 2,000 single-family homes, mixed income housing, and that's already in the works. And with y'all's vote a few weeks ago, over $100 million will be spent just on single family homes, not on the developments. But I don't want anyone to think we're not taking your comments. You know your district better than we do. So I do want the housing department to come down and sit down and have a good conversation with you all, and a healthy conversation. And so I'm telling them between now and even if it starts today, uh, Thursday, Friday, whatever it takes, sit down and let's see if we can come to a meeting of the minds that will that will take into account y'all's concerns and at the same time stay within, quote unquote, the criteria that we need to address HUD's concerns. So,
Thank you, Mayor.
okay, sure, no problem. Anyone